welcome back to another fun episode of Thrive Live. Today, we're going to talk about the vagus nerve, and this is great timing because we have February Heart Month. So, I first just want to kind of take a moment and just recognize all those feelings of a wired, dysregulated vagus nerve. So, feeling tired and wired, kind of endless cycle of tension and stress, fatigue, brain fog, poor sleep. Those symptoms are pretty high on the list for many of my high achieving women, moms. You don't have to be a mom, but anyways, high achieving, who's trying to balance life with a career. I see entrepreneurs, basically the go-getters in our world. It's frustrating, frankly, because it can feel like this endless tired wired cycle creates further unhealthy habits, poor endurance, feeling like you're walking through mud, and just generally not feeling like you can live your best life. It can also be deflating, not knowing where to start to gain traction towards having better energy, balanced moods, improved sleep, and feeling fit and healthy. So, a great place to start is looking at repairing the nervous system dysregulation. And one way that we do this is through improving vagal nerve tone. Vagal nerve tone is not considered a cause of disease, but we are learning more and more about how it affects nearly every aspect of health. So for those of you who aren't aware of the vagus nerve helps to regulate everything from our heart rate to gut motility to inflammation to mood. Is affecting our autonomic nervous system and kind of setting the tone for that in our fight and flight versus rest. So when you increase your vagal tone, you send a signal of safety to all of your organs so that you can function at their best. And most people don't quite make that correlation where your nervous system and immune system and gut function are actually all connecting together. So it actually was discovered 20 years ago that a reflex involving the vagus nerves helps to reduce pro-inflammatory cytokines and affecting the inflammation balance in the body. Since then, clinical trials have successfully used vagal nerve stimulation in patients with rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, autoimmune disease. I personally use it in so many patients, and I have a lot of my chronic fatigue, Lyme patients, autoimmune patients utilizing it as a way to actually help to balance that immune response, because we know that stress and that wired a nervous system tone will act as a big trigger for epigenetic function. So here's some science-backed ways that we can improve the tone of the vagus nerve. And I love these because they're easy, they're free, you can do them right now. So the first one is deep breathing. That was nice. That we just did a vagus nerve reset together. So let's do that again. Take a nice, slow, deep breath and just slowly let it out. So the vagus nerve also runs through our chest and through the diaphragm. So we can actually put pressure on the vagus nerve through these slow, deep breaths and having that pressure gradient. So I love deep breathing because it's something that we can do wherever we are, whether we're driving, if we're walking, if we're in between, if we're in a business meeting or between meetings, if we're getting fired up because, our kids are fighting, and that happens a lot, especially in my house. It's a great way to just step aside and take a couple deep breaths and to calm our nervous system down and to put our body physiologically into a calmer state. Meditation. Now, meditation doesn't have to mean that you are doing the meditation apps or that you're doing a full traditional meditation practice. It can literally mean just being still and being present in the moment. So, for example, have a nice cup of coffee or a nice cup of tea, and actually really being in the moment of how does that taste? Is it warm? Feeling your hands around the cup, really being in the moment of what you're doing. This is why adult coloring books are key, because it really brings you in, engages you into that moment. Or if you're going through a walk through the woods and you're just really looking at the trees, you're looking at the wind, really engaging in the moment that you are and leaving your to-do list aside. The next one is yoga. Yoga really kind of incorporates a lot of the deep breathing component. And the slow, gentle movements are again going to be more of this low intensity exercise is actually going to help to calm down the vagus nerve. a massage, exercise. And with exercise, we're not looking at going and doing that, just running and training for that marathon. We're actually looking at really getting a dynamic blend between aerobic, low intensity, which is so overlooked. And when I say low intensity, we're talking yoga, we're talking walking and deep breathing. So cold water plunge. No, I think it was last year or 2 years ago. There's the big social media craze about the ice bucket challenge. But anyways, you can do cold water plunge in so many ways. If you live where it's snowy, you can just go roll around in the snow after a hot bath. You can just do the ice bucket thing, or you can just turn your shower onto cold afterwards. But that cold water plunge, basically, especially after you've had a nice heat session, sauna, hot tub, in the shower, will help to stimulate and balance the vagus nerve and the nervous system dysregulation. Nutritionally, this is actually kind of a fun way that we can think about helping to balance that vagus nerve as well. There's certain foods can increase the vagal tone through the gut-brain axis. So for example, fiber actually sends signals through the vagus nerve to the brain and back to slow down gut movements and to make us feel full. Also, the Mediterranean diet is associated with a higher heart rate variability, your HRV, and HRV is a measure of vagal tone. So for all of those that you have the fancy Oura rings that are tracking the HRV, or if you, I think the Apple Watch might do it as well. Basically, we want to have higher levels of heart rate variability, meaning that we're going to see your heart rate go high during the day and low as well. We want to see a big variation in the day. Think of it as like plasticity in your nervous system. And lastly, probiotics, omega-3s, which is your fish oils or eating deep sea caught fish, and your B vitamins are also been shown to improve heart rate variability as well. So real quality of the food and quality of your diet is actually been known to increase this heart rate variability, which is pretty cool. So all of these work because the vagus nerve communicates in both directions, right? It's communicating to the brain, to the organs, from the organs to the brain. And so these practices, these dietary changes will send signals to the brain to increase the activity of the vagus nerve. And that means that they're having a reduction in our fight and flight stress response and more of the rest and digest response. So I love this episode because health doesn't have to be hard. We can make it easy. And so kind of moving forward, I hope that was very useful and that gave you some tips that you can take away to help on a daily basis to improve the firing of your vagus nerve. We will touch base next week and get deeper into some more heart health, cardiovascular tips and tricks. All right, if you like this episode, please tell your friends and have them subscribe. All right, everyone, have a great week, and I will see you next week.